Hi everybody, this is Craig Bader. I'm a Minnesota realtor with Coldwell Banker in Minnetonka, and I want to talk to you today about buyer love letters and why I suggest don't use them at all. Okay, I'm going to get to that in a little more detail. So first of all, this is when somebody's selling their house, they get multiple offers, and the buyer who really wants to buy a house writes a letter, maybe includes a photo, talks about their personal life, whatever, and in hopes of swaying the seller, making it a little more personal. So when these letters first started coming out, I was a little more neutral. Now I am definitely not in favor of them. So I have had buyers write them, and I've received a bunch of them. Some people say that they help. You know, if the seller's been in their house for a long time and they're real emotional about it, they like having a personal connection. The seller also likes knowing that the buyer is really committed to buying it so that they're less likely to back out. But let me lay out some reasons that it's not a good idea. So first of all, as a buyer, you want to offer your best offer up front, right? So whatever the parameters are, give them your best offer on paper. The other thing is if you come off as looking a little too desperate, the seller may likely counter right away with a higher price. Why not? If you can't wait to buy the house, you should pay a little bit more. And then if as the buyer, it will weaken your negotiating position a little bit down the road, right? So let's say there's a problem with the inspection or whatever, and something needs to be fixed. The seller is going to say, no, I have the upper hand because they're so desperate to buy the house. So maintain your negotiating position, right? As a seller, you need to remember that it's a business decision, right? So when I have multiple offers, I usually line them up like on a table or something, and we look at all the parameters of the actual offer. So if you're concerned about their overall commitment, we can counter with asking them to make their earnest money non-refundable. So oftentimes when a deal falls apart, the buyer gets their earnest money back according to the contract. But if you put a clause in there that it is non-refundable regardless of how you cancel, then that helps you as a seller. If you're concerned about their ability to pay, I usually call the lender or the bank to get a little more information and verification that they can afford it. So those are important things. The other big thing with these buyer love letters has to do with fair housing. So let's say you're a seller, you get 10 offers, they all write a letter, they all have a little personal bio, and you just happen to choose the person who looks like you and thinks like you and goes to the same church as you. You see where I'm going with that. Many of those personal attributes are protected classes. So whether you mean to or not, you may be committing illegal discrimination. So shouldn't have to say it, but in the United States, anyone who can afford it deserves to be able to buy a house. So it's better just remove yourself from any consideration or bias, whether it's intentional or not. For all those reasons is why I recommend just stay away from buyer love letters. Call me if you have any questions. I'd love to hear your feedback. And thanks for still watching. I would love it if you like and subscribe or whatever it is that you're supposed to do. I would say check out my other videos, but so far I don't have any other videos. So maybe by the time you see this I do. And love to hear from you. Thanks. Bye-bye.